It was a Tuesday morning, sky so blue, and the towers fell, yeah, we all knew. But while the dust was still in the air, they passed a law they'd long prepared. 300 pages, typed in tight, signed in the dark, no end in sight. They said it was to keep us safe, but they just needed a reason to erase. That's the day the Constitution died, buried under fear and pride. They took our rights, said step aside, all in the name of the red, white, and lies. Now freedom's just a word we mind, since the day the Constitution died. No jury, no lawyer, no courtroom light, just feisty judges.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Rebuilt Radio, where we unpack the stories, systems, and silent wars that have shaped our lives, often without our consent. I'm your host, Michael Phillips. Today's episode is personal, historical, political, and, if I'm being honest, pretty damn unsettling. We're diving into how 9/11 didn't just change the world, it legally transformed America in ways most of us still don't fully understand. Let me ask you something. What if 9/11 wasn't just a terror attack? What if it was just the justification, the excuse, to usher in a permanent state of emergency? One that flipped the Constitution on its head. One that let the government do what it had always wanted to do, but couldn't get away with, until fear cracked the door wide open. And once that door opened, it never closed. Just 45 days after the towers fell, the Patriot Act was signed into law. 342 pages of sweeping surveillance powers. It was passed overnight with barely any debate. Most lawmakers didn't even read it. Why? Because it was already written, waiting in a drawer like a playbook for a crisis. It allowed the government to spy without warrants, search your home without telling you, access your library, bank, and medical records, label you a domestic terrorist if you oppose them. This wasn't protection. This was preparation for power. After 9/11, the government expanded the FISA courts, secret tribunals with no juries, no defense counsel, and no transparency. Between 1979 and 2020, they approved over 33,000 surveillance requests. And how many did they deny? 12. 12. That's not judicial review. That's a rubber stamp for surveillance. You don't see this stuff. You don't vote for it. It just happens. Quietly. Legally. Permanently. In 2013, we learned the truth, thanks to Edward Snowden. The NSA wasn't just watching suspected terrorists. They were watching all of us. Through programs like PRISM, they worked with Google, Facebook, Microsoft, harvesting emails, calls, texts, photos, building digital profiles of entire populations. The Fourth Amendment, it didn't just get violated, it got vaporized. And the scariest part, most people shrugged, because they'd already been trained to trade privacy for safety. Let's talk about Guantanamo Bay, a place where people were locked away indefinitely. No charges, no trial, no due process. Some of them turn out to be innocent. Some are still there today, 22 years later. We created a legal black hole and called it national defense. But what we really did was normalized the death of due process. The Department of Homeland Security is now one of the largest federal agencies. It runs TSA, ICE, FEMA, and more. It funds fusion centers, police militarization, pre-crime surveillance, and AI behavioral monitoring. The war on terror gave us armored vehicles on small-town streets, facial recognition at protests, data fusion systems tracking everything from our social posts to your travel patterns. And it's not just terrorists anymore. It's you, if your views don't align with government policy. And here's the most dangerous part. Once this system was built, it became reusable. Just swap the buzzword. National security post 9/11, child safety and family court, public health during COVID, hate speech online. Different crisis, same playbook. Declare an emergency, sidestep the Constitution, expand administrative control, repeat. A lot of people still think Bush just did what he had to do. I don't buy that. Like Lincoln before him, Bush used a crisis to reshape American law, but this time it came with global surveillance networks, tech partnerships, behavioral data on every citizen. It wasn't reaction, it was reformation, a quiet legal coup under the flag of freedom. The Constitution wasn't repealed, it was replaced with policy. Can we undo it? Only if we demand sunset clauses on emergency powers, transparency in surveillance courts, an end to secret programs and black budgets, the restoration of jury trials and due process for everyone. We've been under soft martial law for 2 decades. Most people just don't realize it because it doesn't come with tanks in the streets. But make no mistake, we're already living under occupation. That's it for today's episode of Rebuilt Radio. If this hits home for you, or open your eyes, share it, comment. Let's start asking better questions. Subscribe to Rebuilt on Substack, or email me at fatherordie@gmail.com. I want to hear your stories. But until next time, stay awake, stay grounded, never trade your rights for comfort.
That's the day the Constitution died, buried under fear and pride. They took our rights, said step aside, all in the name of the red, white, and lies. Now freedom's just a word we mind, since the day the Constitution died.